Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. I'm Amy, and today we're starting a little Thanksgiving series for the month of November. Now, some of you may be hosting that big dinner this year, and some might be heading over to family or friends for the turkey extravaganza, but if you're hosting or traveling, side dishes are a must. And this month, we're going to explore some traditional and maybe not so traditional Thanksgiving side dishes that will put everyone into the proper post-Thanksgiving dinner food coma. This week, we're tackling my primo version of the popular green bean casserole and the ever-controversial cranberry sauce. So let's get cooking. We'll start with the cranberry sauce since this one's going to have to go in the fridge for a while to set. And we're not making just any cranberry sauce. We're making that jellied cranberry sauce that you buy in a can. You know, the stuff you always either loved or hated back in the day. I loved it. It was always my favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner, even more so than the pies. I know, I was weird. I still am. I'm not sorry though. Cheap cranberry sauce in a can is awesome. Grab a medium saucepan and pour in one 12-ounce bag of cranberries, and these can be thawed or you can just toss them in frozen. Pour in 1 cup of sugar and a half cup of water, and that's it. Start stirring it up a little just to start that sugar melting. I am also adding a cinnamon stick for some lovely cinnamon flavor. You could add orange peel, fresh ginger, either of those would be really awesome too. Stir everything up, heat this over low to medium-low heat until the berries start to pop and the sauce begins to thicken. Make sure to stir it pretty often to keep that sugar from scorching. If you're unsure when it's ready, you can use a spoon to test if the sauce is thickening up. You want to dip your spoon into the sauce, let it cool for a second so you don't burn yourself, and then run your fingertip through the sauce on the back of the spoon. If the sauce stays separated and it isn't running off the spoon like juice, it's good to go. Now is the labor of love part of our process. Pour this into a fine mesh strainer over a medium to a large bowl, and make sure to pull out that cinnamon stick if you used one. Then use a wooden or a metal spoon to mash the berries and the sauce through that strainer. This can take a few minutes, and when you're done, you'll still have about a half a cup or so of seeds and cranberry pulp in the strainer that we don't want in our sauce. Also, make sure to scrape the underside of the strainer when you're done because a good amount of that jellied sauce will be stuck to the bottom of the strainer. Wow, look at how amazing that sauce looks. Pour the sauce into a wide mouth bottle or jam jar. I'm using 2 little 8-ounce mason jars because I want this to have that signature cylinder shape like I just got it out of a can. Lid these up and pop them in the fridge for at least 2 hours so that they can set up. Now let's make our green bean casserole, and contrary to many recipes for this dish, you will not see any canned beans or condensed cream of mushroom soup here. But we are going to add a couple of things that make this the best green bean casserole you will ever have. I know that is a tall order, but I promise this is awesome. Start by preheating your oven to 350 Fahrenheit and generously grease a 2-quart baking dish, which is like an 8x8 dish. Next, grab a medium pan and fill it about halfway with water and of course some salt. Bring that to a boil and boil 4 cups of frozen green beans for 2 to 3 minutes. We want them thawed and tender but still crisp, so no soggy beans here. After the 2 to 3 minutes, drain the green beans, pour them into a large bowl, and just set them to the side. Now while the green bean water was heating up, I've got some other prep to get going. We need 4 to 6 slices of bacon, preferably thick cut bacon because it'll hold up better in the casserole. I'm using 6 slices because bacon, and I need a specific amount of bacon grease. Cut these up into smallish pieces. They don't have to be anything fancy, just chopped up into little bite-sized bacon chunks. When we're done slicing them up, put all the bacon in a cold medium saucepan and cook them on low to medium-low heat until they're nice and crispy. We're doing this so that they render out a good amount of bacon grease for us to use. Pull them out of the bacon grease when they're crispy with a spider or a slotted spoon and set them to the side on some paper towels to drain. Now we need to check our bacon grease. If it looks like you have about 3 tablespoons worth of bacon grease in the pan, we're ready to keep going. If not, add enough butter to make up the difference and melt the butter over medium-low heat. Add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and cook this, stirring constantly for 2 to 3 minutes, long enough to cook out that raw flour taste. Add in a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and a pinch of dried thyme and stir that all up into the roux so it's evenly distributed. Next, add a half cup of chicken broth, half of that at a time, and whisk it in between so there's no lumps. Then, just do the same thing with a half cup of milk. Lastly, add salt and pepper to taste, and then let this bubble for just a few minutes until you're happy with the consistency, which should be similar to the condensed soup can. This tastes way better though. Over to our big bowl with the green beans. Add all that lovely crispy bacon in there, every last little bit of it. Pour in 1/4 to half a teaspoon of seasoned salt, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, and about a half teaspoon of black pepper or just to taste. Pour in about 3/4 of a cup of either shredded cheddar or shredded parmesan cheese. Go with whatever you like best, but whichever cheese you use will give this a very different flavor. Now, the cheese is also optional. You don't have to put this in, but who can resist cheese? Pour in 1 cup of French fried onions and then scrape in all of that cream sauce we just made. Then start folding everything together gently so you don't break up those crispy onions apart too much. Now the last addition is another half cup of milk. We didn't add this to the sauce because it would have reduced along with everything else, but we need this entire half cup added after the reduced sauce so the finished casserole sauce has the right consistency when it's completely done baking. Keep folding all of this together until everything is nicely combined and everything's coated with that sauce. Pour all of our casserole stuff into the baking dish we sprayed with oil earlier and smooth everything out as best you can with a spatula so there aren't big old mountains and valleys in our casserole. Pop this in the oven, bake it for 30 to 35 minutes or until everything is cooked through and it looks nice and bubbly. At the 30 to 35 minute mark, pull it out of the oven, sprinkle the top with another 3/4 cup of whichever cheese you're using and a half cup of the fried onions, and then pop it back in the oven for another 5 to 10 minutes or until that cheese is all melted and the onions are nice and crispy golden brown, or, more golden brown than they already are. And this casserole is done. Look at this thing just bubbling away. This is cheesy, but it's crunchy from the fried onions and the bacon. I'm never gonna make green bean casserole without bacon, ever again. This sauce, it's thick and it's hearty. It has such a better flavor than with canned cream and mushroom soup. Making that cream sauce with the bacon grease and the seasonings, it's just perfect. This green bean casserole is the best. It's almost a meal all by itself and it's really filling. It'll be a perfect addition to your Thanksgiving table. It's crispy and it's savory. It just warms me up. It just takes me back to sitting on my grandparents' couch munching on French fried onions right out of the bag. The dining room table just groans under the weight of all the food, and everyone just laying around the living room after dinner while Grandpa watched football and old westerns. Our last stop is to check on our cranberry sauce. So this needs to set for at least 2 hours, but overnight is even better. Look at how nicely set this is. It's not runny at all. Just like the can, it may or may not come out of the jar right away. Run a butter knife around the side, just like with the canned stuff, because we need to loosen up that vacuum that the jelly creates in the bottom of the jar. As soon as we get a little air vent in the knife, you can see here, the sauce just comes right out. This actually did set just a little thicker than the cranberry sauce in a can, but I'm not complaining. The flavor of this is so much more cranberry-y, cranberry-like. It's fresh, it's tart, a nice bright flavor, and the cinnamon just adds that little bit of autumn warmth. It's just a wonderful addition to a cranberry sauce. Now, that's not to say I don't still love the canned sauce, because I do still love it, but mostly for other reasons. You got those classic ridges when you finally get it out of the can, that sound it makes when you hold the can upside down, it just hangs on for a minute, and you keep trying to shake the can a little, but not too much, because it has to come out in that perfect cranberry cylinder. Yeah, that's some pure nostalgia right there. But this tastes better, and it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. You can also grab a spoon and just eat it right out of the jar if, like me, you're the only one in your house that actually likes cranberry sauce. I promise I won't tell. You can also make this up to a week in advance and just keep it in the fridge, as long as you're able to leave it there and not eat it all before Thanksgiving. I started digging into it the next morning, but I could eat cranberry sauce all year long. Imagine pulling up to Thanksgiving dinner with homemade jellied cranberry sauce, but without the can. I also always thought this would be difficult to make, but this actually took less than 30 minutes, and the flavor is so bright and fresh. I want to try it with orange and then with ginger and see which is my favorite. Let me know what kind you would like the best down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment with your favorite Thanksgiving dishes. Stay tuned every Wednesday for more side dishes that will elevate your Thanksgiving dinner to new heights, whether you're hosting or bringing a side dish along for friends and family. And don't miss out on Sundays for some cozy, comforting home cooking because I have a new recipe for you every week. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I'll see you here next Wednesday for some more delicious Thanksgiving recipes. Bye!